My man was a two-time Pro Bowler. He is a savant when it comes to the wide receiver position. He's the one and only TJ Houshmandzadeh. Housh, I got a bunch of things I want to get with you. Scotty Miller running by King. And, you know, we had Rod Woodson on earlier, and he was like, when you're in man coverage and you're 6 feet back, you're in no man's land. But what were your thoughts on, was it the coverage or was it the play of the defender? What led to him being so wide open at the end of the first half?
Number one, you got to understand the situation. And so obviously the players on the field, you're at fault. But who in their right mind with no timeouts, I believe it was 8 seconds left, who plays man-to-man? You put your butt to the sideline, let them catch it inbound, tackle them. It's halftime. Who plays man-to-man defense in that situation? That's number one. Number two, if you are going to play man, we're always taught if a guy, and what Rod Woodson said, that's no man's land. Either you're all the way up or you're 8 to 9 yards off. And with that being the case, know it's 8 seconds left. Know that you're in a bad play call. Play over the top. Don't give him anything over you. Make him catch the ball underneath. More than likely, he's going to be tackled, and it's halftime. So to me, it was just bad all the way around. Bad coaching, bad plan.
How'd you think Brady played?
It was two halves, really. He played fantastic in the first half and did not play well in the second half. But if you look at it in the second half with the interceptions, you could look at them as long punts, so to speak, or the turnovers were just long punts. And the defense came through. The defense bailed him out, and that's just the only way you can explain it. He did not play well in the second half, but the defense bailed him out.
Okay, so what about Aaron Rodgers? How did he play?
I thought Aaron Rodgers played, if we're going to scale to 1 to 10, I'll give him 8.5. He played very well, and the only reason he doesn't get a 9 or 10 because I felt like on that third down, he could have probably run that ball in. He might score with his athleticism because guys aren't going to really come off. He probably scores.
Look like if you look at it, JPP had an angle on him. But regardless, I was surprised he didn't try and run on second. He didn't try and run on. He didn't try and run on third. Like that used to be what Aaron Rodgers would do. He'd kill you with his legs, and they're doubling. They're doubling his best wide receiver. There's at least space there to make a play. And I know that cornerbacks come off their man, and all of a sudden, those guys have some closing speed. But I was surprised as well that Aaron, he doesn't run nearly as much as he used to, and in that situation, really surprising.
It was one of those things where when you look at the replay, and obviously he's playing the game, so he might see or feel something that we don't see or feel. But just looking at it, you're in that situation, sometimes you hadn't been hit all game, not hard anyway. Sometimes I got to just put my body on the line because if we score this touchdown, we have an opportunity to get the 2-point conversion and send the OT. It didn't happen, and here we go. Here we are.
Okay, so what was he so mad about after the game?
We all watching the game, Doug. I was watching the game. My son was watching the game. Why are they kicking the field goal? My son is 6. Why are they kicking the field goal? And that's what he's mad about. Why are we kicking a field goal? It's just about, I believe it was 2:08 left on the game. And, yeah, the defense had been playing well. And yeah, you had your timeouts. But even if you don't get it, they're backed up. They're gonna be conservative on the 8-yard line. They're probably gonna run the ball 3 times, hope to get a first down, punt it back. And so, yeah, he was just probably upset that put the ball in my hands and let's see if we can convert this.
Okay, so this is, it's super interesting to me. You're mad about that, and then he kind of walked it back. Do you think the Packers do they extend him here in the offseason? Do they get rid of Jordan Love? Is there anything they do to appease their superstar quarterback?
Honestly, this is one of his better seasons, and he probably felt like the writing was on the wall. You don't draft a quarterback in the first round just to draft him in the first round. You're drafting him to develop him to be the heir apparent. And so he comes out and gives the type of season that he gives them. And now it's the elephant in the room. You still have this quarterback that you drafted in the first round. When do you plan on passing the torch? Well, I want some clarification. I want to be very transparent. Either you extend me, give me some more guaranteed money, and I know I have at least 2 more years, or you don't. And I know it's the beginning of the end and a lot closer to the end, because when you drafted him, you told him it was the beginning of the end. And so I believe he just wants some type of clarification, be transparent in what's going on. If they don't give him an extension or just probably move some money forward, I believe this will be his last year this upcoming season in Green Bay.
I'm going to guess that they're going to move some money around and they'll give him.
If they're smart, the way he played,
yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. And if Jordan Love can continue just to sit there and develop, it's only going to be better for him and for his future and for the Green Bay Packers.
Here's what I said, and we had John Middlecoff on earlier. I think he's like like you and I can relate on this. He's like a 2020 Suburban, right? Like if you go down to the Chevy dealership and you want to go get a sub right now, they're like, hey, old body style, it's brand new. We'll give you $10,000 off MSRP, right? So it's not like a used car, because the second he plays, now everybody's like, oh, he can play or he can't play, right? Because no one's seen him. Didn't play in the preseason. He didn't dress for games. Like no one's seen him. He's like that. He's not even a demo. He's a brand new car. But so I don't think they can get a first for him, but I think they get a second for him. And then the longer he sits there, next year's not, I don't believe is going to be nearly the quarterback year, because there's not a Trevor Lawrence sitting out there. Maybe next year they could get a first for him when he goes through a training camp. He plays a little preseason. He does some good things, and he builds up that reputation.
This is what's going to happen, Doug. If they want to move off of Jordan Love and see what they can get for him, this is what's going to happen. We're going to hear during the season how great Jordan Love looks in practice. We're going to hear, oh, my God, he had a great training camp. Oh, my God, he is shredding the defense on scout team. That's what we're going to hear, because they're trying to throw things out there to see what sticks, see who bites. If they're going to proceed with A-Rod as that quarterback, we will get great reviews from how he's doing in practice, guaranteed.
Okay, let's get to some of the other stuff. Deshaun Watson, let me play for you. This is the new general manager of the Houston Texans. Just got the job, sits down. Before anybody take any questions, this is what he had to say.
Just want to reiterate our commitment to Deshaun Watson. He's had a great impact on this organization, a great impact on a lot of people, a great impact on this team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring once we get started. And, we have zero interest in trading the player. We have a great plan, a great vision for him and for this team and his role on our team. And we look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring.
All right. You believe what he says?
If he's smart, he should believe what he says. Do I believe it? Yeah, because if Deshaun Watson is on that team, they're a better team. But with that being said, when I was a player, Doug, I felt like, oh, we got great players. We're going to win. And then you watch the people on TV like yourself, and they say this and that, and you're like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But when I retired and you hear yourself and Colin Cowherd constantly speak on this, dysfunction, that word dysfunction, the owner, general manager, head coach, and quarterback need to all be on the same page. That's what you guys preach, correct?
Yeah, I think the owner is the most overrated thing in the history of sport, right?
Okay.
Because all you need to do for the owner, right, is will the owner write the check? Yeah, this guy's going to write the check. He already wrote the check. He gave him $73 million last year.
If everybody's not on the same page, there's going to be a disconnect. And you don't want the leader of your team not wanting to be there. If they're not going to trade him, of course he's going to play and show up. But you're not going to get his all, because he doesn't want to be there. And so it's tough when it's the face of the franchise and it's a quarterback. We've never seen this before. And so what happens if they don't trade him? He's going to be a professional, but you're not going to get his all, because in the back of his mind, he doesn't want to be here. And that's the thing where I don't know what went wrong. You said you were going to keep me in a loop. You didn't. You said you would communicate. You didn't. He demanded a trade supposedly, before the head coach was hired a long time ago. Now it's just coming out that the trade has been demanded. Are they going to do it? to me, if you can get what you're looking for, you do it and you move on. And if you can't, you keep them. It's a business. But if you can get what you're looking for, you have to move them. This is supposed to be a good quarterback draft. If you can get a pick in the top 5, I think you move them.
Your favorite basketball player of all time is who?
Wow. Kobe.
Okay, right. Kobe died a year ago this week. Rest in peace to Kobe. Kobe he wanted to be traded from the Lakers.
He did.
He came
wanted
back
to go to the Bulls.
He came back, gave his all. The Bulls wouldn't come off Luol Deng. That was why that trade wasn't made. Right? Think about that one. And then Luol Deng ends up like wasting money for the Lakers in the last 3. I think he's still getting paid by the Lakers. Anyway, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think that's all the agent, right? The agent is the same agent as Jalen Ramsey. Is him trying to throw his weight around.
Hey, he the best agent in the game. David Mulligetta, best agent in the game.
Okay. Like this is the game of chicken, and I don't think the Texans are blinking.
But you don't want a guy on your team that doesn't want to be there. You just don't want it. Not with a
But you're not meeting with the coach. You're not meeting with the GM. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. He didn't know about what those guys' plan is. And no one has anything bad to say about Deshaun. No one. No one's like, that's the best secret. No one does the sneaky bad dude. He's not a sneaky bad dude. He's a good dude. But the not meeting with guys, not hearing guys out, not sitting down and going like, oh, okay, like we can do this, like or we can't. But to not meet with guys, I don't think that's good for him. He'll be a professional. If they want to meet, I'm sure he'll meet at some point in time.
But it's going to be how they maneuver through this treacherous wall. It's going to be interesting because when you have if your wife says, I want to get a divorce, and, okay, we'll just stay together. In the back of your mind, you're always going to think, she told me she wanted to divorce me. You're always going to have that. You're always going to have that in the back of your mind. Like, she really don't want to be with me, but I guess we're going to try to work it out.
The Lakers worked it out to 2 more NBA championships. Bring in Pau Gasol, and the rest is history.
Now, if they can bring in some players and you can start to win, if it obviously winning changes everything. They have no draft capital, and so you better bring in the right guys.
No question. But it's going to be fascinating. TJ Houshmandzadeh is our guest. What are the Rams doing? Because Jared Goff ain't going anywhere with that contract, and yet they're making it seem like, okay, he's got to go through some quarterback competition if he's on the team. What's Les Snead doing?
Well, he's going to be on the team for sure.
I know.
Unless they can pull a Brock Osweiler. But it's almost crazy. Number one, they're losing all their coaches on both sides of the ball. They're in a dilemma. They gave Gurley that contract and they gave Goff that contract, and obviously they regret it now. What that is done, no, that just messed it up for guys in the future. Nobody from the Los Angeles Rams will ever get a contract early again. They're going to make everybody play it out moving forward because of those two. When you say the number one pick who you've extended to big money has to compete with an undrafted guy, it's a problem. At the quarterback position, that's a huge problem. And it's a problem that we all know Jared Goff's going to be the quarterback. They're not going to pay Jared Goff all that money to sit on the bench. That's just not going to happen. And so can he get back to the form that took him to the Super Bowl? They better get some offensive linemen to keep him protected. He's not a mobile quarterback, and I think that's starting to show now because the game is moving to more of a athleticism at the quarterback position. But what they need to do, what would really help him, get him a vertical threat. Get him a guy that can really threaten you vertically down the field. Because the Rams, they don't really vertically attack you down the field. Everything is horizontal, is lateral, jet sweeps, crossing. They don't have that vertical threat. If they can get a vertical threat, maybe it opens things up, and teams can't play them the way they've been playing them as well. So that may help.
Yeah, they had one, and they traded him to Houston, right? And then
they'll get one. They'll get one this offseason. I'll tell you who it's going to be off air.
Oh! This is off-air breaking news. TJ Houshmandzadeh joining us. Actually, by the way, TJ you had Tom Brady leaving. He's never going back. But did you have him going to Tampa?
I did have him going to Tampa. I just couldn't tell you that because then who told me probably would have been upset about it. But I knew he was going to Tampa. Yes.
Okay.
And
so
hey, Doug, by the way, my preseason, before the season started, Super Bowl participants were the Chiefs and the Bucks. Just FYI.
Okay, FYI, I had the Packers and the Chiefs. I'd be like, you're better than me, but not that much better than me.
Pretty good.
Okay. The Chiefs will not have either. They were not going to have one. They probably won't have both of their bookend tackles. And if you look back at their depth chart, they're down 4 offensive linemen from the start of the year. And obviously, Tom Brady's good, but he's not as good as Pat Mahomes at this point in Pat Mahomes' career, right? But that front for the Buccaneers, am I crazy, or does this feel like the Patriots Giants first Super Bowl matchup where the Patriots were undefeated? Remember, they beat the Giants last game of the regular season, but they just couldn't protect Brady. I mean, even the second one's the same thing, where no matter how – but the first one, that was the year he threw 50 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
And they had Randy Moss. You're like, man, and he was never comfortable the entire game. Aaron Rodgers was never comfortable because that defensive line is so nasty. Is that how you see this thing going?
I do see it going that way, but I wouldn't say that the Chiefs are like the Patriots. The Patriots steamrolled everybody. The Chiefs played very well in the AFC Championship game against the Bills, but prior to that, they were struggling to put up points. But when you lose Fisher, your left tackle, and you can't, with the Bucs, you can't just say, oh, we're going to focus on this guy. They literally got that whole front four can rush the passer. Yeah. They can get pressure up the middle. And
just like the Giants, right? Just like the Giants. That was what the Giants were. The Giants were the NASCAR pass rush 2 different times. There wasn't a dude that you could focus on because they were all so good.
The key is just don't let Tyreek Hill get 200 yards in the first quarter, and we will have a game on our hands. We'll have a classic because down 28-10, I believe the Bucs was that first game they were down. And next thing you know, it's 28-24. But they got in a hole in that first quarter, first half, and they just couldn't get out of it.
Hoosh, if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you fired? Big Ben's like, yeah, I'll come back. I mean, I don't even care what I play for. I mean, obviously they got to rework his contract because it's such a big number. But are you fired up for that if you're Pittsburgh, considering how up and down a year he had?
Nah, I'm not fired up for that. I'm really – the way the season ended, and even when they were undefeated, I was actually on their side. I'm like, I don't care how bad you think they are. They're undefeated. They're a good team. Nobody believed in them even when they were undefeated, and then the flaws started to come out. They couldn't do this. They couldn't do that. Pouncey said he's going to retire. And to me, the Steelers, you don't rebuild. They're always going to play defense. They have the pieces offensively. I don't believe they're going to bring back Connor or Juju, but you'll still be fine offensively. But where do they go? Where do they go? And so they don't have a choice but to let Big Ben play this year unless they can find a replacement. I don't see that. The Steelers aren't going to have a losing season, and if Big Ben isn't there, it's quite possible that can be the case. But am I excited if I'm a Steelers fan? Absolutely not.
Hoosh, great stuff, man. Can't wait to talk with you. And send me that name off air, and I'll enjoy your insight. Thanks for joining us, dude.
I got you, Doug. You take care. Keep up the great work, man.
All right, TJ Houshmandzadeh. By the way, you should download Up on Game. It's a pod and a show that LeVar Arrington, and Plaxico Burress are all on Fox Sports Radio on the weekends. But you can just download it. It's like 3 dudes that were all great players, good dudes, just telling stories, talking about what's really going on in football. Up on Game. Download it on the iHeartRadio app or on foxsportsradio.com.